Good morning, students. We are going to have a class today, but before starting our class, we are going to pray. So I invite you to close your eyes and bow your heads. Dear Jesus in heaven, we thank you again for a new day of life. Thank you because so far you have been merciful and protector with us and our families. We ask you for knowledge and understanding to comprehend the topic that we are going to learn about. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So today, guys, we are going to continue with the topic that we started last week, that is in chapter 4, Introduction to Nouns, the second part. So I want you to review first what is a noun. Do you remember what is a noun? Let's remember, nouns can be singular when we talk only about one, or plural when we talk about more than one. And we said last week that nouns can be people like teachers or doctors in plural. These ones are plural nouns. A noun can also be places like restaurants and schools. Nouns can also be things such as cars and chairs. But nouns can also be animals like birds and dogs. So now, guys, that you already review what a plural noun is, let's go to open your book in page 65. Page 65. Think critically about form. Read the sentences and complete the tasks below. Here you have in the same page, page 65, you have these two charts, plural count nouns and irregular plural count nouns. Remember that count nouns is because you can count them, and plural because they are more than one. So in the first one we are swimmers. Which one is the singular form for swimmers? Swimmer. Okay. And if you see, what you did was only to add s for making the plural. Now tell me which one is the singular form of balconies. Balcony is the singular form. If you see a change occurred or happening here, instead of y, we added I plus es. Now let's see the other one, the irregular plural count nouns. Here we have Amy and Kim are children. What is the singular form for children? Child, right? And the second one says they are women. Which one is the singular form? Woman. So if you see, guys, in this chart, in the first chart, we only add s or es, changing the y for I, but in the second chart, it's completely different, the singular with the plural. That's why we call those kind of nouns irregular plural nouns, because they change from singular to plural, or sometimes even they are the same. So let's continue, guys. In the same page, page 65, you are going to find a chart that says overview. So in here, I want you to underline some things that I'm going to underline also, or to highlight with your highlighter. Sometimes, or most of the time, for making plurals, we are going to add only s or es for most of the nouns. But not all the time is going to be like that. We have other rules for making plural nouns. And that is what we are going to see right now. For example, the first rule says that you have to add s for most plural nouns. For example, apple, apples, flower, flowers. But what happens if the noun ends with s, z, sh, ch, ss, or with x? It says that you have to add es. Let's see the examples. Gas, it ends in es, so you are just adding es, gases. Waltz, ending in z, waltzes. Bush, bushes. Church, churches. Class, classes. Or fox, foxes. Okay, so let's go to the third rule. The third rule says noun, a noun that ends with consonant plus y. What do you have to do? It says that you have to change the y or drop the y and write I and then es. For example, baby. There you have y in here, but before the y we have a consonant. So we have consonant plus y. So the rule says that you have to drop the y and you have to add I plus es. Let's see the second example. Balcony, balconies. Again, y and consonant. So you have to drop the y, write I plus es. Now, the fourth rule says, what happens when you have a noun that ends in a vowel plus y? Number 3 was consonant plus y. Number 4 is vowel plus y. It says that you have to add only s. For example, boy, boys. Toy, toys. Look, y and vowel. Y and vowel. Vowel plus y. So you have to add only s. We have a fifth rule. Rule number 5 says nouns with consonant plus o, you have to add s, or sometimes you have to add es, and sometimes you can use both of them. Let's see with the example for you to understand better. Auto, autos. Here you have consonant, the T, plus O. So you have to add S. Photo, photos. Again, consonant, the T, plus O. Potato, potatoes. In this case, we have consonant plus O, but remember that sometimes we are not going to add only S, but ES. Tomato, tomatoes. Now, looking here. Tornado, tornado, you can add both of them. You can say tornadoes with only S, or, tornadoes here with ES. Both of them are correct. Volcano, volcanoes with S, or volcanoes with ES. Both of them are correct. So how are you going to know when to add ES in this case, or S? Sometimes just you have to memorize the plural nouns. Number 6 says, what happens with a noun that ends with F or FE? What do you have to do? You have to change the F or FE to V, and then you have to add ES. Let's see the example for you to understand better. Loaf, that is a piece of bread. What is the plural form? Look that this one ends in F. So we have to drop the F or change the F and write B, V, and then ES. Knife, Knife ends in FE. So also you have to drop FE and you have to add V plus ES. But sometimes we have exceptions to the rule. And some of those exceptions to the rule is belief, beliefs in plural, sheaf, sheaves, roof, roofs, scarf, scarves or scarves. And the seventh, and is the last one, is about irregular nouns. Irregular nouns do not follow any rule. That's why they are called irregulars. And how do you know which one is the plural? You have to learn, you have to memorize the plurals. For example, child, the plural form is children. One child and more than one children. Okay? If you see here, the singular form is totally different from the plural form. Let's see the next one. Fish, fish. One fish, 2, 3, 4, 5, or millions of fish. Okay? So in this case, the singular and the plural are the same. That's why they are irregular. And the last example, foot, feet. Foot only one, feet two or more. So if you see, the singular form is completely different from the plural form. And guys, for example, I want you to look in here, proper nouns. We have to use the plus a plural proper noun for the family name of two or more people. For example, the Riveras, the Sanchez's, the Kims. Let's talk about Daniel, the Martinez, Chelsea, the Lazaris. Okay, so that is when we are talking about the proper noun of a family, the last name. Okay, let's continue with this part. What we saw in here, guys, the rules, these rules, you are going to find them also in your books. In what part? In the end of your books, look for page A2. This page is page A2 in the appendix. In the end of your books, here you have all the rules. These ones are the rules. Spelling of regular and irregular plural nouns. So in there you have all that I was explaining you before. Okay? So let's continue with page 66. In page 66 you have a listening for form and you are going to check in the correct column, singular or plural. Are you ready for listening to the audio? Okay, let's do it.
Chapter 4, page 66. Exercise C1, listening for form. Listen to each noun. Is it singular or plural? Check the correct column. 1,
manager,
2,
children,
3,
books,
4,
man,
5,
teeth,
6,
woman,
7,
child,
8.
mice,
Okay, did you do it? So if you need to listen again to the audio, just go back in the video and you can listen it again. Okay, so now what you have to do, exercise C2, in this part, spelling regular plural nouns. Write the plural forms of these nouns. Use Appendix 1 for help. The Appendix 1 is page A2, the one that I told you before, that is the rules. At the end of your book, you have the Appendix 1. In there, you have the rules for making plurals. for you to remember how to make the plurals. So the first one is done for you, dictionary. Dictionary ends with Y. But before Y we have what? R. So we have consonant plus Y. Do you remember the rule of consonant plus Y? It says that you have to drop the Y and add I plus ES. That's why in there it says dictionaries. Now, what is the plural form for balcony, bedroom, radio, boy, garage, potato, and brush? Okay? Then you have to work in page C3. Working with irregular plural nouns. Pay attention, guys. This part is regular. So, this part follows the rules. You have to use the rules. But part C3 is about irregular plural nouns. They do not follow the rules. Remember that you have to know them by memory. But at the end of your book, in the appendix, you have examples, and maybe in there you have which ones are the correct plural for those nouns. Number one is done for you. The, in parentheses, you have child, are in the park. But you have to write that in plural. What is the plural of child? Children. Number two, 200, in parentheses, you have person, are in the line for the new Tom Cruise movie. What is the plural for person? So write it in the blank space. In the number three, what is the plural for man? Number four, the plural form of tooth. Number five, the plural form of woman. And number six, the plural form of food. So right now, guys, stop the video and work in this page because we are going to continue in other activities. But first you have to finish this page. Okay, did you finish the page? So let's continue with the other activities. Now, guys, I want you to go to page 68. Right now we are going to work in page 68 in the section Think Critically About Meaning and Use. Page 68. Read the sentences and answer the questions below. Sentence A. Flowers are expensive. B. Roses are flowers. C. The library is next to the bank. And D. Open the door. In number one, says that which sentences have nouns used as subjects? Nouns, but that you are using them as subjects. Remember that nouns are places, people, things, animals. And subjects are what you talk about in a sentence, okay? A subject is going to be a noun, but we can have, in a sentence, we can have more than one noun. But not all of them are going to be subjects. Do you understand this part? In a sentence, we can have many nouns, but we are going to have only one or two of them are going to be subject. Why? How do we identify the subject? Ask yourself, what is the sentence about? And that is the subject. In sentence A, do you have nouns? Flowers are expensive. Yes, we have only one noun. Is what? Flowers. Now, in sentence A, what are you talking about? You're talking about flowers, right? So in sentence A, we have flowers is the noun, and also flowers is the subject, because we are talking about the flowers. We are saying that flowers are expensive. Sentence B, roses are flowers. Do you have nouns in there? Yes, we have two nouns, roses and flowers. Now, listen, in this sentence we have two nouns, roses and flowers. But which one of these two, flowers or roses, is the subject? Which one of these is the subject? Ask yourself, what we are going, or what are we going, are we talking about? Are we talking about flowers or roses? We are talking about roses. We are saying that roses are flowers. So roses is the subject. So in this case, we are going to erase flowers because we were talking only about the subject. Sentence C, the library is next to the bank. In here, again, you have one noun by here, library, and another noun by here, bank. But which one of them is the subject, library or bank? What are you talking about in the sentence? The library is next to the bank. You are talking about the library, right? So the library is the subject. In sentence D, open the door. Which one is the subject? Or which one is the noun first? Door, right? Door is the noun. Now, do we have a subject in sentence D? Open the door? No, right? This noun that is the door is not the subject. We are not talking about the door. This one is only a command. So we are going to erase this. Number 2 says, which sentence has a noun after a verb other than be? In other words, which sentence of these ones, A, B, C, or D, has another, has a noun after a verb different from be? Do you remember verb to be? Remember that verb to be is, are, or in order am, is, are. Okay, so which noun has another verb that is different from be? This sentence, right? And number 4 says, number 3. Which sentence has a noun after be? Okay, first, let's identify verb to be. Here we have verb to be, verb to be, verb to be, and in letter D, we don't have verb to be. Okay, now I want you to see what you have after verb to be. In number 1, after verb to be, do you have a noun after verb to be? Are expensive. Expensive is a noun or adjective? Is an adjective, so it's not a. B, roses are flowers. Here we have verb to be are, and after verb to be we have flowers. Tell me, flowers is a noun or what? Yes, it's a noun. So it says, which sentence, number 3, which sentence has a noun after be? Is this one. Sentence B. Here we have verb to be, and after be we have flower, that is a noun. Let's see letter C. The library is next to the bank. Here we have verb to be is, but then we have next. Next is a noun? No, right? So for number 3, the sentence was letter B. Now let's do number 4. Which sentence has a noun after a preposition? Okay, let's find prepositions. Only here we have a preposition, look. This one is next to a preposition. And look what we have after the preposition. We have the bank. The bank is a noun, so that means that noun after preposition is letter C. Okay? Hopefully you understood this part. If not, you are going to understand with the exercises in the book. So let's continue in the same page, guys. Page 68. We are working in page 68. We are going to find these charts, meaning and use. Nouns as subjects. And I want you to highlight this. Nouns as subjects. We can use a noun or pronoun as the subject of a sentence. Remember that the subject, I want you to underline this, of a sentence with be tells who or what the sentence is about. So let's see the examples. Barry King is the manager. If you see here, we have two nouns, Barry King and manager. But tell me, Barry King is a noun and manager is another noun. But the sentence is talking about whom? About Barry King. So in this case, this noun, Barry King, is the subject. Number 2, computers are useful. What is the subject in this sentence? What we are talking about? We are talking about computers. So computer is the subject. It's a noun, but it's a subject. Now let's see the third one. Teresa and Pete are children. Looking here, we have Teresa is a noun, Pete is another noun, and children is another noun, okay? But which one of the three is the subject? What are we talking about, or whom are we talking about? We are talking about Teresa and Pete. So Teresa and Pete are or is the subject. Teresa and Pete are children. We are talking about Teresa and Pete. Sometimes, guys, the nouns are going to be used as objects. Here we have nouns as subjects. That means what or whom are we talking about? But now we have nouns as objects. And let's underline what is a noun as object. It says, the object, I want to underline this, you to underline this, receives the action of the verb. Okay? So let's see the example. Call the manager. Tell me, which one is the action? Call, right? Call is the action, is the verb. Who is receiving the action of the verb? Who is being called? The manager, right? So this one, the manager, is receiving the action of the verb. So this one is the object. Now, please make the sandwiches now. Please make the sandwiches now. Which one is the action? Make, right? And what is being made? Who is receiving or what is receiving the action of make? The sandwiches are being made, right? So sandwiches are the object. For you to understand better this, let's review, guys. Subjects is what you are talking about in the sentence. Are you talking about the school, about Jennifer, about the cell phone? So that is the subject, what you talk about in the sentence. Object is the noun that is receiving the action of the verb. For example, look at this picture and look at the sentence. Albert kicks the ball. Here we have two nouns. We have Albert and we have ball, right? And we have also the action. Which one is the action? Kicks. Now, in this sentence, we can identify both of them, the subject and the object. The subject in this sentence, who or what am I talking about in this sentence? I am talking about Albert. So in this case, Albert is the subject. Now, we said that kicks is the action, the verb. What noun is receiving the action of being kicked? The ball, right? So ball is the object, is receiving the action of the verb. Okay, subject and object. Albert is a noun, ball is a noun, Albert is the subject, ball is the object of the verb kicks. So let's continue, guys, with page 69, nouns after be. So let's underline this, nouns after be. We can use a noun after verb to be. We use this noun to define or describe the subject of the sentence. For example, here we have verb to be, is. A studio is a small apartment. We are using, looking here, a noun after be, look, that is after be, to describe what is a studio. We are saying that a studio is a small apartment. Let's see the other one. The Freemans are teachers. Here we have a noun, verb to be, and then another noun. And we are using this noun after verb to be to describe what are the Freemans. What are the Freemans? Teachers. Okay? So that means that when you use verb to be is for description. For example, you can say Nubia, that is a noun, is verb to be, a teacher. Here we have a noun after verb to be to describe this noun of here, who is Nubia. Nubia is a teacher. Okay, so every time that we use verb to be and a noun after verb to be is because we are describing. Aaron is a student. Number 4, nouns after prepositions. We can use a noun after a preposition. After many prepositions, nouns refer to locations. For example, Mr. Clark is on the telephone. Here we have the preposition. Look, preposition and then the noun. Nouns after preposition. Medford is near the city. Preposition and then the noun. The school is in town. Preposition and then the noun. Steve is from Boston. Preposition and noun. So now, guys, it's your turn. Here we have another listening for meaning and use in page 69. Okay? Number 1 is done for you. What do you have to do? Listen to the sentence and tell me if the noun is receiving the action or object, or if the noun describes the subject. Okay, so you are going to identify if is object or subject, receiving the action or describes the subject. So let's listen to
Chapter 4, page 69. Exercise D1. Listening for meaning and use. Listen to the sentences. How do we use each noun? Check the correct column. 1,
Eat the vegetables.
2,
A skyscraper is a building.
3,
Studios are apartments.
4,
Read a newspaper.
5,
Mr. Jones is the landlord.
6,
Please clean the house.
7,
Electricity and water are utilities.
8,
A knife is a utensil.
9,
Tony, open the door.
10.
Chris is a swimmer.
Okay, did you do it? Did you complete the chart? If you need to listen again the audio, just go back in the video for you to listen to the audio again. Also remember that the audios are in the platform, okay? So, in number one was done for you. Number 1 says vegetables. Vegetables receives the action or describes the subject. Well, it's done for you and it says that receives the action, but let's see. The sentence said, eat the vegetable. So here we have the action and what is receiving the action of being eaten. The vegetables are being eaten, right? So the vegetable receives the action. That's why it's in this column of here, so that you have to do the other exercises. Let's continue, guys, in page 70. Let's go to page 70, and in there you have some messages. And it says, read the messages, then answer the questions. Here we have message A, B, and C. Okay? So we are going to answer now the questions. Question number 1. Look at message A, this one. Which 3 nouns receive the action of the verb? And you have already plumber. Look. Plumber. Why? Because here we have the action, call. What are you going to call? The plumber. The plumber is receiving the action of being called. So, look for 2 more. In here you have another one, and in here you have another one. So, tell me which noun, we have 2 more, receives the action of the verb. Number 2, look at the underlined sentence in message B. Now let's read message B. Which noun is the sentence about? Hi Jeff, says the message. Hi Jeff, I am at the park. The boys are at school. Please make dinner, Shayla. So here we have the sentence that is underlined, and it says, which noun is the sentence about? So write it in here. Which noun is the sentence about? The boys are at school. The sentence is talking about? So write it in there. Number 3. Look at the underlined sentence in message C. Which noun defines Tonga? Dear Shayla, I'm in Tonga. Tonga is a small island. It's in the Pacific Ocean. It's a beautiful place. So here we have the underlined sentence. Now tell me which noun is defining or describing Tonga. In other words, what is Tonga? What is the noun that defines Tonga? Tonga is a person, a place, and if it's a place, what place? So write it in there. Number 4, it says that you have to find 4 examples of preposition plus nouns used for locations. 4 locations, prepositions, preposition plus noun, 4 locations. And I would tell you that in here we don't have prepositions plus noun for locations, only in here and in here, so you have to find them. And I will help you with number 1. You have to find 4 examples. You are going to write them below, okay? I will write them in this space, in here, but you are going to write them down in the page. So, the first example for a preposition plus a noun, we are going to find it in here. Look, at is a preposition and the park is the noun. And it's expressing location. I am at the park, preposition plus noun. So you have to write the first example for number 4. In number 4, okay, the first example is at the park. Continue looking in this message and in this one, and you are going to find 3 more and write them there. Number 2, number 3, and number 4, because it has to be 4 examples. And guys, then after you finish this, you have to complete this page that you already know how to do it. Send me the pictures, please. I need the pictures of the pages since the page, because I want to see that you were working with the video. I want the pages from the pictures 65 to 71. Okay? So send me the pictures for Friday, the last day. You can send me tomorrow or today if you want, but for Friday before 4 p.m. No more than that time, okay? So see you next week in another class. Blessings.